solo victory cups are finally back, and we're gonna have a solo FNCS, which we haven't had in years. If you want to make some earnings or finally prove yourself in solos, then this is the time to lock in. The problem is that most players suck at solos. And that's because solos is very unforgiving. If you make just one small mistake, like one bad rotate or one awareness check, then your entire game is over. No teammate, no rebooting, and no one to blame but yourself. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to play solos properly, how to practice, how to fight, how to think, and how to become way more consistent. For the people who don't know me, I'm a 5k PR player, I've qualified for Division 1, and back in the day I got some pretty decent solo placements. Now let's begin with the biggest reason players fail in solos, and that's making silly mistakes. I think one of the bigger secrets is trying your best not to be creative. Like, you should not try to reinvent the wheel every single game. Like in solos especially, it's important that you stick to good principles. A while back I made a solo mastery course inside my program, and there was this one person, I won't say his name, but he called my advice basic. But that is exactly why that course is so good. Bad players just do not stick to the basics. Pro players have already mastered the basics. They are allowed to experiment with different strategies, but if you're watching this and you're below like 10k PR, then don't try to create your own style. That is only going to lead to more mistakes, more deaths, and worse tournament placements. Now, because solos is so unforgiving and one small mistake can end up losing you the game, it's super important that you have a good mentality. I know so many players who are insane at the game, but they just can't place in solos, and it's because they start tilting after one bad game. And then the tournament is already over. Like if you start raging and slamming your desk every time something unlucky happens in the middle of your cup, then you're gonna lose your focus and you'll play much worse. Solos is all about your mentality. Another thing that will hold you back is caring too much. I swear, pro players, they somehow don't care and then they get better placements than you do. I don't think you should try to force a placement that is above your skill level. Like if it's super difficult for you to get a top 1k placement, then don't try to get a 1k placement. Just focus on leveling up your skills so you get to a point where getting a top 1k placement is easy. Because if you have too much pressure in the middle of a tournament, it's gonna make you play worse. When I made my first earnings, I was not trying to force it. I did not care whether I would win or lose. I just wanted to try my best. And I was fully detached from the outcome. And I think that's the mentality you should have. Because in a mysterious way, if you care too much, all of a sudden you play worse, you get worse placements. And then in tournaments where you just don't care, all of a sudden you play 10 times better and you get like your best placement. You should go into your tournaments feeling almost zero pressure. Like being a little nervous might be okay, as long as you're not shaking or playing less confident. Like you still have to make the plays that you need to make. Like making an early rotate or getting a refresh or going for height. These are the plays that require confidence, and if you're not confident, then you're just gonna play not to lose instead of playing to win, and that is not how you make earnings. If you want to make earnings, you gotta play for the win. Now you might be wondering if you should focus your attention on solos or duos or both. And honestly, it's kind of situational, but I will say this. Duo scrims are often higher quality than solo scrims. So although solo scrims could be fine practice sometimes, especially because you don't have anyone else to blame but yourself, I think duo scrims are probably more worth your time. Solo tokens, on the other hand, are perfect for your fighting skills. Like in my experience, solo tokens are also way less cringe than duos or trios. But of course you're always gonna have that one kid that cranks like 2090s or chops you at the start of the fight. Like tokens are kind of cringe, but yeah, you just gotta have to deal with it, because I don't think there's any better way of practicing your fighting. Reload ranked sucks. Ranked is maybe good at the start of the season, but after that it sucks. There's only one other way to practice your fighting, which is really good, and that is W keying in scrims. So you could be W keying in solo scrims. Then you're gonna have your realistic in-game ping, and you're gonna have realistic scenarios. And I'm not saying you should break the zone rules, like you can key when zone rules end. Just play some kovacs while waiting for 5th zone or something, and then just key everyone in endgame and get as many kills as you can. That is also something definitely worth VOD reviewing. And the same goes for your solo tokens. Like maybe watch it back from your enemy POV in 0.75 speed and figure out all of your mistakes. Now when it comes to tournaments, however, most players fight way too much. Like the format always favors placement points over kill points. So your main priority in tournaments should always be to stay alive, only fighting when you're forced to do so. Like if someone keys you in mid-game, just box up and just play defensive fighting. Like you really don't have to panic, because you're just gonna make more mistakes. Just stay calm, stay relaxed, make safe peeks, and then just outlast that player. Maybe do some counter damage here and there if it's a safe peek, and then you'll probably survive. Staying alive is the main priority. And then in endgame, if you need a refresh, you need to be confident. Like sometimes you just gotta jump in the box. Like that's where your aim training comes into play. I do recommend to be a little bit aggressive for a refresh right before the endgame really starts. I think you'll see a lot of pro players doing that. But overall, you should not try to engage in too many fights. In a mid-game fight, disengage if possible, and just focus on winning every single game. Now, what's much more important than all of this is your life outside of the game. Like, do you sleep on time? Do you exercise? And do you have a solid structure? Because without this, making consistent progress is nearly impossible. Like some of you guys have been playing Kovacs for 1 hour a day, every single day for the last 3 months. And that's because you guys have a solid routine and a solid structure, and you guys are making crazy progress. And then there's the people watching this video that haven't even touched an aim trainer in a couple of months. Consistent actions is what leads to inevitable results. If you really want to make earnings and prove yourself in solos and go pro in this game, then it is time to get serious. You need to hop on the grind. Most of you are still just addicted to TikTok and watching YouTube videos and wasting all of your time instead of putting in the work. If you want to lose this competition of Fortnite competitive, then fine, go watch your Netflix shows, stay up late, eat shitty food, jerk off 3 times a day. But then don't expect to reach a level where you can make money from this game. Like, it is difficult, and the most dedicated players win. Every single day you need to prove to yourself which category you're in. You either belong with the winners and the players that eventually go pro, or you belong with the losers. Now, if you're still watching this video, there's definitely still hope. All of the losers have already drifted off because their attention span is just fucked. If you're still here, I'm going to save you. And we're gonna start by creating a daily routine and a structure for how you spend your time. This is mandatory. You know what mandatory means? It means you have to do it. Everyone watching this video needs to have a routine. Just think about it. In Fortnite, to consistently win games, what do you need? You need a game plan, and you try your best to follow it every single game. But the exact same thing goes for your life. If you want to consistently make progress every single day, then you need a routine, and you try your best to follow it. This ties back to what we said earlier about being creative. If you do something different every single game, you're gonna have different results every single game. You're never gonna be consistent. So you need to build a game plan and you need to build a routine. The game plan should say where you land, the game plan should say where you will rotate, the game plan should say how you're gonna play in endgame, which layer you will take. Will you go for height or low ground? In life, your routine says how late you go to bed, how late you wake up, when do you exercise, what type of exercise, when do you do your homework. Some of you are lucky, you're gonna have holidays, or you get homeschooled, even better. They have even more free time on your hands. Fit in at least 1 hour of exercise every single day, and also 8 hours of sleep. The rest of the time, go grind as hard as you can. Go play 4 hours of tokens, 4 hours of scrims. Like, why not? Pro players are doing that, and that's why they're good at the game, and you're not. Like, I'm not trying to insult you, but it's a reality check. Getting good at a skill requires practice. The more you practice, the better you become. And I'm not saying groundbreaking things. You know these things are true. But applying the advice, that is where everyone fails. Like, staying consistent can be difficult, and it starts with your sleep and your diet and how often you exercise. And then there are a million distractions like girls and pornography and random YouTube videos just like this. Even the video you're watching right now is keeping your addiction alive. But I hope the advice is still worth it. Like, you gotta take care of yourself, and I'm here to help you win. Because I know what it's like to win, and I know what it's like to lose. And trust me, winning is better. Which leads me to a very important point. The process of winning does not actually look like winning. Winning in Fortnite looks a lot more like losing. Like, if you lose 10 tournaments in a row, that does not make you a loser. Because every single tournament brings you a lesson. You're gonna improve over time. It was just practice. This is how you improve. You know what winners do in this game? They lose over and over again until they get good at the game, and then they start winning. You know what losers do? They think, I'm losing right now, and then they quit. They give up. They say it's too difficult, or they pretend that they are too old or too young, or that they don't have the right equipment, or the right genetics, or the right ping, or the right parents. Oh yeah, my parents, it's the parents' fault. You know, like my parents, they don't allow me to play. Bro, it's not your parents holding you back. Every single parent hates to see their kid play 10 hours a day of Fortnite. That is not an uncommon scenario. I swear every single player had to face that challenge. It's just one of the things that you have to deal with. And one of the things you can't use as an excuse to give up on your goal. Going pro in this game is difficult. If it wasn't a challenge, then nobody would care. It wouldn't even feel like an accomplishment worth going for. If you get too upset about losing a tournament, then you have to take a step back. Like, really realize what is happening right now. Your goal is to win in this game. You lost the tournament, but losing comes with a learning lesson, and you improve over time. So you're really in the process of winning. And if your goal is to win, then you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Losing is not something to be upset about, and I've made a pretty decent video explaining that. If you want, you can watch that after this video. Now, sometimes losing is a signal that you should do something different. For example, if you keep dying in endgame, you might need to change your rotates, change your positioning, change your timing on rotates. Sometimes you need to improve some aspect of your gameplay. But let's say you're doing all of the right things. So you play kovacs, you play tokens, you play scrims, you're really grinding and putting in the work, and you still keep losing all of your tournaments. Then you gotta understand, as long as you're doing all of the right things and stick with it long enough, then the improvement is basically guaranteed. Kovacs does not work if you play for 1 week. Saying Kovacs doesn't work for me after 1 week of playing it is stupid. Play it for 1 year and you'll probably say the opposite. You'll probably wish that you started way sooner. The time to log in is right now, in this moment. Too many people say they'll log in when something happens, you know, when the summer comes, when the winter comes, winter arc. But honestly, that's just procrastination. Remember what I said about there being 2 categories. There's winners and there's losers. What do you think a winner would do? Do you think a winner would just click off this video and watch a bunch of TikTok videos? You know what to do to belong with the winners. And if you're not doing it, then you are choosing the other side. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now here's a little promo. Yo boys, real quick, if you're trying to improve in this game, then you might want to check out Fortnite Academy. You will get access to 4 private coaching sessions with me personally every single month. On top of that, we also do sessions with a pro player called Chris. He has about 40 KPR and a qual grand finals. Then you also get 30 plus hours of previous VOD review sessions, along with a bunch of courses to help you improve in the game. And on top of that, you also get early access to an app I've been working on to help you become more consistent by turning your life into a video game. All of which you can get today for only 10 bucks. If that is something you're interested in, then click the link below this video. Now have a great day boys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.